theologies, they are like, and it's like differences that are beautiful, but they're not dividing. And in the American church, I feel like our theologies can divide us, where it's like, well, I'm a Baptist church, I can't work with a Reformed church, or I'm this church, or, and it can cause us divisions, and we get distracted instead of focusing on the gospel. And like my sister Sarah said, like the zeal seems to be gone. Like we're so distracted in different things than being unified for the gospel. In the early church, the Bible says people were added daily to the church because they saw the love and unity in believers. And you had so many, you had Simon the Zealot, and you had the tax collector. You had so many people with different upbringings and things. And the beauty of us Christians, and we were at the airport together. I was like, this is so beautiful that immediately I meet them and they're my sisters. No other religion in the world has that. Like in Christianity, we're all one. And who does, I mean, and so I think that can be so attractive in the world, to the world, but I think our theologies sometimes cause divisions, and we stop working with each other for the gospel.
Naomi gave this question. She says, what's the one thing you'll never forget about your experience, and what keeps you going and giving you strength each day? Yeah.
For me, I think, it's first is Jesus died for me. Second is Jesus come back, to take me with him. That's always, doesn't matter what kind of situation we are thinking about this. I think, I wanted to be living for Jesus. That's me. Okay.
Hard to top that one.
Yeah, exactly.
How about one thing you'll never forget about your experience? Sure.
My experience for me is never forget. I think many things I cannot forget, but one important, the first time, the personal relationship with Jesus. Sometimes a lot of times I'm really weak. Probably I'm looking back. But I think the first time, the personal relationship with Jesus, this connect me with Jesus. Always, when I was weak, I think about that moment. From that moment, I belong to him. From that moment, I get the mission for him. So that's me.
I want to share one is, I think earlier I shared with one brother sitting there. So, we really want our next generation to be Christian, right? But for myself, my mom is Christian. When I'm really young, my mom read Bible to me every day. In China, we are it's easy. We cannot have anything at school. We all learning, the human from monkeys, all those things. Then I tell my mom, please stop read Bible to me. I want to make friends. I don't want to look like different with the other, my peer. So my mommy didn't mad at me. So she said, oh, okay. But he continued to pray for me in 20 years. When I went to college, that is one day I feel God just talked with me. You need to go to church. So I started to look in the church, find the church, and go to the church every week. That is my life got huge change for that moment. Yeah.
For me, this is after we left Sudan. On the way when we're heading to the airplane, and these two things happened. Mine was only 2 months old. It's actually 1 month and 22 days old. I was holding her. We were allowed to leave because they took my passport and everything at the beginning, and I was about to leave the country. Now I'm allowed to leave, and the government official escorting me out to the airplane. So when I was looking on bus, one of the officials, he said, "You go now, and don't you ever look back to Sudan, even on the map." and we took everything. But you know what? I'm glad you did took everything from me because they took all my property, my business, and everything. I looked back and I told him, no, you didn't took anything from me. Yes, I have to give up everything I want, material thing. And I'm leaving the country. I don't even have a dollar on my hand. But there's one thing that you put me in jail because of it, you weren't able to take that from me. And it's the love of Christ in my heart and my children's life. So that's one of the things. That's the big moment I remember. The other thing, when I said that and I came back, I'm holding Maya like this. She was very strong. And I looked at her, I looked at her on her face, like, kind of leaving the country. It's a very emotional moment. She was smiling, looking at the Muslim man. She was smiling, and she's a baby. She never even smiled yet. I was, oh my gosh. She had something in her mind, so she's gonna come back with a different mission. So that's one of the very emotional moment for me. So
Anyone else? Moment that you'll never forget? We have one from Marion. Did you ever feel abandoned by God? And if so, how did you reconcile that with your faith? Have you ever felt abandoned by God, and how did you reconcile that?
I have felt, yes, many times. Hindsight, God was working it all out in a way I could have never imagined. Multiple times I felt like he had abandoned me, he had ruined my life, he messed up everything. And only after a few years, that's why I tell people, I'm like, you don't know the full story, like, trust him. Because some of it I still don't understand, but most of it, years have passed and I can look back and be like, wow, I would have never thought that that was what was going on. So I've felt abandoned by God many times. Who said in their story, like, was it you, Sarah, with the blood and it's Jesus on the cross saying, God, why have you abandoned me? Yeah, it was like there are moments as Christians we feel that. Jesus felt that on the cross. But the bigger picture is so amazing when he lets you see some of it. We don't get to see all of it, but there's times it makes sense, things that were painful or, well, we felt alone and abandoned. Vagit, who got the letter, you're alone but not alone. He's leading thousands right now. He works in Turkey. He has a ministry that is reaching so many Muslims around the world, and the ministry is abandonment. Because he was abandoned by his dad, and then in prison he felt alone. And so God is using that feeling of abandonment to bring so many Muslims to Christ, to know God as their father, which is such a big revelation for a lot of Muslims. So yeah, I would say many times, I think all of us have felt abandoned by God. But he hasn't abandoned us. I think we just haven't seen the full picture.
Esther, did you feel abandoned in the first 6 months while you were there before you kind of turned around in that moment?
Hard to say the first 6 months you mean in the detention centers. So at the beginning, like I shared, I feel so hard for me with my children as a mom. I cannot understand. I cried most every day. Like I say, the letters and when the lawyer visited me and brought so many things. Yeah, just follow things. I can little bit, but it's still asking me all the time.
I think that's part of growing deeper with your roots, because you're confused and like, and you just dig deeper and you find the source.